What's going on, guys? It's 1:43 in the morning West Coast time for a Saturday, the 22nd of February, 2025. So, out here in Roseman, California, a dog still awaits my attention. And she's going to holler. You know what I was about to say is on social media right now, is we have in our own little chat rooms, there is dissension. There is discussion. There are people complaining about how some of the information is false, and despite the fact it gets verified, they don't believe it. They don't want to believe it. They just want to stick in their own sound boxes, and that's what they've been doing, staying with the sound boxes on a constant basis. We have changes happening in our government, worse and worse. The corporate medias are jumping on the bandwagon more and more of dumping on Trump for not being an effective president, not to mention Elon Musk taking everything else. He's not even elected official. No. He just got himself into position, and now he's making shots. He's calling the shots concerning about how our government should be functioning. Anything that controls him, he wants out. He wants no control. Gets to a point where he privatizes his army by the U.S. Marshals, law enforcement. It gives people power to shoot people. Private security company is one thing, but when you get officially recognized by the U.S. Marshals, this is unheard of, unprecedented. It's one thing when I'm hearing back and forth from the independents, not to mention from the corporate, that there are certain periods of time that Trump wanted us to go back to where we actually had the millionaires and billionaires controlling our country. The later half of the 1800s to the earlier half of the 1900s. And question, how did our economic situation go during that time? When we had the control of the oligarchs saying everything and then controlling the laws? Well, didn't we have a recession afterwards, turned into a depression globally? Yeah, who benefited from that one? See, the middle managers decided to end their lives. The lower half were struggling like crazy because homes and farms were being taken apart, soup kitchens started up. Anybody with a few pennies are going to have to hold and clutch onto those damn things because they're not quite sure if there's going to be another job or not. And it took a very courageous president to get a safety net going for everybody. Of course, the Republican Party didn't like that because they didn't like safety nets. They wanted money. And you know what I can't get past these people concerning about history? They look at history so damn screwed up. From the corporate media all the way down to the people in my news group that I belong with in this town. Hold on. She must be obeyed and needs to be attended to. Yeah, you're talking about wanting. Wanting anything and everything. The good life the rich people go for. Meanwhile, they live off the backs of the struggling masses left and right, who are left struggling and pitting against each other because if they don't go against the oligarchies, they'll go against themselves, and that's where they want it. Going against themselves and not combining forces to go after the oligarchies. There are postings happening on social media that for certain times of the week between February and April, we have these major corporations being boycotted. Yeah, you heard me correctly on that one, boycotted. So somewhere on the social media, and they're talking about it. They'll be posting up these pictures of saying we need to take it to the marketers directly on it. It's a good economic strategy, especially when you wanted to make your point across. Especially when you had a network, television station, or someone in media who needed to be targeted real bad, so you go after the advertisers. You take them out economically. The independents are afraid of them because they derive their money from everybody else, including a few corporates here and there, but they try to be independent when they talk about their newsy stuff. And they advertise and they hawk and they gawk. I don't know who's worse, the corporate media or these guys. They're trying to keep their base of operations going. Me, as I said before, my operations is just two laptops, and that's about it. And whatever government stipend I get, my own work, my own Social Security savings that busted my ass for. And I'm dependent upon the government for my survival. There have been a time when I could bounce from one job to another job, one temp assignment to another temp assignment. If I was lucky enough to get a long-term retail, I'd do it. Or if there was office work I could do, fine. Phone, you know, customer service on phones, okay, fine. I could do that too. There's nothing wrong with that. Ma kept looking at me when she was alive a long time ago. I don't know if she ever asked me the question, why am I stuck with temp work? But she knew about temp work. I used to be a temp for her a few times in my life. I also did long term. Used to do work for her, period. Well, if I was working for a company, I get paid. If I was working for Ma, no, there's no payment. You just do it. Caregivers do that to each other and for each other, especially when you're family. But Ma knew that temp work was work. I signed up with a lot of temp agencies. Every time there was job fairs, I signed up with more temp agencies. I had a bunch of cards that was about this stack high. I kept calling every week or almost every day. There goes the phone bills right there. Just to make sure that I'm still on their list. And if I happen to get a phone call, that meant I got to be ready that time, that day, that instant, and get over to the job site. And some days there had been no work. And other days, I'd get maybe 2 or 3 calls a day. But I'd get some work, either day work, a week, a month. If I was lucky enough, I'd get maybe several months out of it. But, you get what you get, you work your ass off, and then you make do with it. And there's nothing wrong with work, especially when you're trying to bust your ass left and right and prove a point to yourself and everybody else that, yeah, you're capable, just like everybody else. You're capable just like the other permanent guys, except you know less than they do. You're just there for the manual labor. That's about it. You done yet, Mama? All right, come on. That's the thing about it all. 80s, you're growing up as a teenager, you get thrown into the work world, and then 90s and 2000s, you really start to understand what the working world's all about. You get injured on job a few times, it gets you knocked out. Did me. So I've gotten to the point where I'm just not there anymore. Kind of sucks. What else can I say? But some of these people who keep talking about they know what it's like, they don't know what it's like unless they actually busted their ass. The guys we got in office right now haven't busted their ass. They know how to be slick and cool about it and carry chainsaws. In one particular conservative PAC meeting, you got a lunatic billionaire brings in a chainsaw. Look at me, I'm an idiot with a chainsaw. I'm gutting out the government for you. In any other kind of circumstances, if law enforcement actually saw that, they'll tell them, drop the weapon. Drop it now, or we drop you. Guess what? I'm a billionaire. Laws and rules don't apply to me. Yeah, that's true. Because we have allowed the billionaires to take the laws into their hands and make us dance like crazy. Well, said before, 1776 and 1860. Take your pick what we're going to be going through. If you guys actually studied history, then you understand about the dates and the circumstances. Some people say something about the dogs war. I got a dog over here that's driving me crazy. Being a caregiver for a dog is not exactly the easiest thing, especially when she's a needy. She's very needy. And if I'm not in there all the damn time, we have too much happening right now as it is. And it's only going to get worse according to what other people have been saying. Top law enforcement, actually military leaders, get shifted and shuffled out. Postal Service going under the chopping block. They want to privatize the damn thing. Well, we've already been having problems with our Postal Service out here. Some people actually get their mail, and other people don't. When we have third-party vendors running certain services for the post office, doesn't exactly make our confidence in the Postal Service any better. When presented evidence to my group out here in Roseman, California, concerning about what Trump had an idea. All those savings from those people who just lost their jobs, the money savings will be given to other people. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Trump is offering $5,000 to everybody in the country. Does that also include the people who just lost their fucking jobs? Who need the money? Trying to get my thoughts together, and I'm dealing with a control freak. We got a country that's dealing with control freaks right now and telling us and trying to con us what's going on. What's being passed around from independent to independent as they're picking up these videos. X keeps trying to take care of them, but they pop up on YouTube every so often. These town hall meetings from these GOP assholes, they're getting themselves torn apart by their own constituents, the same maggots that put them out there in the first place, and telling them, what are you doing to us? There was one guy offering word salad, and he's become an open season on this one. Very much so with his town council. We don't have a representative just yet. We haven't had one elected in office, but if we did, I haven't seen any meetings coming down the pipeline from this guy. Okay. You'll hear in the background, my dog wants attention. Middle of the night, she wants to play. She used to do that as a kid. I know her brain is fried. Republican asshole? Because we don't have a Democratic asshole for Kern County. Okay, so we got Vince Fong, Republican. He's new. He's a junior congressman. So he's just getting his feet wet. He also is part of the area that I'm in. Covers part of Edwards Air Force Base. So I don't know this guy if he's just as screwed up as one particular representative he replaced. We'll just see how much of a pain in the ass he's going to be to my town. So much for political stuff to talk about. She must be obeyed. I don't know who's worse, the political parties or my dog right now.